everyone, my name is Mikayla.Snow, and today I'll be showing you guys how I like to curl my hair. This process is a little tedious, but the great thing about it is if you wash your hair before you do this, you can get your hair to last quite a while. So I use a clipless curling rod. I got this from convention thingy that I went to a while back that came to my state, and it was raining, so my hair basically just got wrecked. But little did I know that they had a booth in there selling these guys, and I mean, like, I fell in love with it. She did my hair so good, and like even after bath going into the rain, it held, and I was just very happy with the outcome. So this is just some random brand that I got from that beauty convention. It's nothing fancy. I can't even remember how much it was, but this is just what I use, and it works for me. So here's this tutorial, guys. I really hope you enjoy. So here we go! Hey everyone, first things first is I wash my hair just so I could get the longest last out of it. Then I go in with my Tresemme. So once my hair is damp, I just spray this in a little bit and then put it back up into a little shower guy. I let it dry. So now that my hair is, for the most part, all the way dry, I like to find where I want to separate it, brush it to the back so I can find my part all the way back there as well. Alright, so now that everything is to the directions that I want it, I have my right chunk and then my left chunk. And my hair is extremely short now. I think back in August I took about 4 inches off, and then somewhere around November I took another 2 inches. So it's growing back a little bit, but it's not as long as it used to be. So I like to run my finger just above my ear and collect that hair. My curling iron actually came with this nice little glove, so I won't burn my hand off. Alrighty, so now that we have our little buns, the top section of our hair is parted away, so now we have full access to the bottom half. And I can start curling. I start at the very bottom and take about 1 inch, I guess is worth, and separating it from the rest. So when you're doing the right side of your hair, you want to be using the glove on your left hand. And usually I can get about 3 or 4 sections out of the bottom half, depending on how much hair I put. So again, just going underneath, getting as close to my head as possible, and just wrapping my hair around the barrel. The funny thing is, when I went to my great-grandma's 95th birthday, everyone was just getting ready in their big bathroom over there, and they had a clip curling iron, and I didn't know how to use it. Like, I completely forgot since I've been using this one for so long. It comes out, you kind of just want to hold it and let it kind of form in your hand. So while it's cooling, it'll keep its shape. And there you go, there's the other one. So now you got these little curly guys with you. And it's crazy to think how much like your hair shrinks when you curl it, just because it's getting shorter, obviously, because it's going around different ways. Like, to see how my natural hair is, and then to when it's curled, it's kind of wild. But I also usually just curl out my curls a little bit, so I do have some length. And that's all for this half. So with all the 4 quadrants, like, it barely takes me any time to do this little side. And then you can just move on to the left side. And so when I go to curl this side, I put the curling iron behind my head, like this. Wrap it behind me. I don't know why I do this. This is just something that I've grown to be easier for me, rather than to bring it to my non-dominant hand. And then just holding it to let it cool, bringing it down a little bit. It can get quite hot in here. I like to work my way up, just so it's easier to throw the higher pieces behind my head so they're out of the way. And again, going from behind. With a hand with a glove, I can usually hold the barrel for a little while, helping to get all my little flyaways to be heated. Just be very careful you don't burn yourself, because even though you have a glove, doesn't necessarily mean that you're 100% safe. So this is a very awkwardly shaped end, kind of. It's very thick, but then it's also not quite. So you could either split this up into do 2 sections, or just do it as a whole, so whichever one you'd prefer. You can feel once it gets too hot in your hand, it's probably a good time to let it go and let it cool down. That one got really hot. Whoa, there's all kinds of steam. If you get to a point where the bottom half doesn't curl, that's okay. Just go in and curl that part. And be careful when doing smaller bits of hair, just because there's less hair between this very hot rod and your hand. So you just want to be very careful and pay attention to what you're doing. So now that you have your bottoms done, you can just let these guys cool for a little bit. And you could totally, if someone could rock this with these buns and then the half curled, that'd be pretty rad, but I don't think I could do that. Alrighty, so now that everything's cool, you can go in with your hairspray. This was actually in one of my monthly favorites. And so when I do this, I look at all the crappy pieces that I did. And I like to grab this whole bottom section and kind of like give it some wiggle room and get right at my roots. And then push it up a little bit. And then you just spray it at the bottom. So while I'm spraying it, I'm kind of just combing it all out with my fingers, just so it doesn't become like one big old clump like this side's becoming. And the great thing about this hairspray is that it doesn't really get too crunchy. And I'm also getting some of my length that I lost from the curling. And I think it turned out pretty good. And then moving on to the other side. Starting at the root and pushing it up a little bit. Alrighty, so now that everything has been sprayed down, this is the point where you can stop and rock the half down, half curled. But so now that, I don't even know what I'm saying. Now it's the tough part. I think I'll start with the thicker section. So now just unrolling your bun, which kind of curls your hair by accident. I like to switch all of the stuff that I already curled to behind me. And then trying my best to keep this all together and splitting it one more time just because this is the side that has more. Boop. So now you're kind of just like a weird little unicorn, and I can just wrap that part of my hair around this bun. Then again, just holding the barrel until it gets too hot. My method of telling when it's done. Kind of just holding it to make sure that instead of letting it fall and fall out right away, trying to like spring it up to have more hold. Here's a great comparison. You can see how much it loses when it is curled, but I think it looks a lot better than this disaster. So the middle part is kind of just a free-for-all. You can see I have this weird little guy that always gives me tons of trouble, but I just try to ignore him because I know that this part will be covering him. And if you are skillful enough, you can usually get in close to where you can find your little wild and be able to tame them. But that's also very scary because it is right next to your forehead. But I think I got him. Good job. And now, oops, nope, it's not done yet. You always want to make sure you get every bit of your hair just so you don't end up having this random piece not curled. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. Ah, it's so hot. Okay, be careful you don't burn yourself more steam. For the most part, that half is done. Take all the parts that have basically already been sprayed and combed out to the back, and I spray this part. So of course, this is the part where you could stop if you wanted these very tight, almost Shirley Temple curls. But these just aren't my style, so I like to just comb them out. And this is where you get your awesome like wave curly craziness, which I adore. So it just turns out I wasn't recording for any of this, but it's basically the same just like every other part, just holding it and letting it cool and letting it fall down. Once everything is curled, you never want to use a brush on it. Make sure you're either using your fingers or you're using a wide tooth pick just to bring back some length. There we go. Basically one side done. I don't know. It's just kind of a mess once you're halfway just because you don't know how this side's gonna look. But let's keep going. Taking down my last bun. Here, would you like to see a comparison? This is basically a before and after. Before and after. I guess I lied when I said that was my last bun. It looks like this side was actually pretty thick as well, so... And so when you kind of get to a weird point where everything's basically on the same level and you don't know whether to pull from the bottom or from the front, you usually want to pull from the back, just because it'll be getting out of the way sooner. I always like to have my curling iron in my right hand just because I feel like I have more control over what I'm doing. After occasionally checking your phone about 80 times, you can go back, section out the part that you just curled, and fling it away. I apologize for all the lizard necks I'm pulling here. And tug up on the curling iron to get as close to the scalp as possible. I usually just end up kind of like heading the end just to make sure all my ends are laid flat against the iron. Alrighty, now for the final bit of hair. Again, splitting it into sections. Kind of like you're braiding. Like this kind of looks like you're braiding. Like you could just take a section there and a section there. And I will start from the very back. This part's kind of tricky because I want to curl it to my left side, but I need more on my right side. Okay, so sometimes you might want to have to switch up, especially when you're doing the back side of your right side, just so it'll go to the direction you want this side to be going. I didn't realize when thinking of making this video how hard it would be to actually curl your hair since I have a camera in between me and my mirror. So just because this is the last piece that I will be curling, I like to split that part up into as many bits as possible. So this one usually can only go for 2. Oh, it's so hot. And if it's too hot to hold, you can usually just let it sit on the side of your head until it cools off. And now for the final strand of hair. And you have to be careful because sometimes if you hold your hair differently, you'll get a different curl. This curl is kind of tighter than, or kind of loose, I don't know the terms. These are obviously 2 different types of curls, but for me, they don't really matter since I let my hair go wild anyways. And so now that everything is basically curled, it looks kind of weird and like too uniform and just kind of like I just curled my hair, you know? And so what I like to do is once everything is now sprayed with hairspray, so it's not gonna go anywhere, and for the most part, it's cooled down. This is the before. So basically, I hope you could see that. Probably not. I just like to get rid of all of the tight curls just because I don't like how those look. And basically just then go wild and just have my hair wherever I like it. You know? I really hope you can see that. I don't know yet because I haven't edited the video. So it could basically just be me completely out of frame. But who cares? I have curly hair now. Like, look at this. This is just some fun kind of retro style curl that I like to do. Like this is my go-to hair when I need to style it or just like use heat on it. I don't really like to use heat on my hair ever really that much, and I'm sure my hair doesn't appreciate being totally cooked, but for the most part, all of the blonde that I used to have in my hair is all cut out. So during August, I feel like when I curl my hair, it looks very dark. And then when I straighten it, for some reason, it's lighter. I don't know if it's because my highlights are mainly on the outer part of my hair. And then so when I curl it, all the bits get like twisted together. And so you don't know it's like this is basically the inside other than the outside. I don't know, but curly hair just makes me happy. Like I feel like a Victoria's Secret model. I'm probably never gonna be one, but we can dream, right? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I make new videos every week and sometimes 2 a week if I'm feeling wild, especially because I've been out traveling so much and I have tons of vlogs and stuff from San Diego. So this is really exciting. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have an amazing day and I'll see you later. Alrighty, so now that I didn't realize how hard this was gonna be to record. Am I in focus? I hope I'm in focus. Sorry, my hair is blending in with my, what's it called? What is it called? Probably looks weird back there. Wait, I don't think I switched my glove hand. This is where I got my guns from, guys. Oh man. This is probably not a good thing to be spraying by my camera lens, but thankfully I have a camera lens protector guy. Curling my hair makes me pretty happy just because I don't get to do it too often, and it's really fun. Like, look at all these awesome curls. I don't know how I'm curling my hair anymore. I always like to have my curling iron. Why do I sound like I'm crying? And then find out you missed a spot. Or did I miss a spot? Or no, just kidding. I didn't miss a spot. Wink, wink. Ah, it's so hot. Ah. Oh no, Disneyland. Ah, stop. Wait a minute. I'm just so happy. Like, I have no reason to be happy, but I am. And don't you think that's the best reason? Having no reason at all. Julio, get the stretch. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. No, my battery's gonna... If you want to know how I did my hair, I just did 2 little space buns.